So we're into our first week of the challenge, and guess what? Chances are the big obvious musculatures that we're talking to you, well, they're talking to you now. So here's what we're gonna work on today. I've got two pieces, and we're gonna use some techniques to restore how these tissues are sliding and gliding, and a technique that we use to help sort of diminish soreness in the tissues. So one of the reasons that we love to mobilize after workout is actually we can delay and diminish, reduce delayed onset muscle soreness. So as we're starting to sort of acclimatize to this daily jumping, the first couple weeks are a little bit tough, then our bodies are gonna catch up very quickly and it's just gonna feel like, hey, I'm a little bit stiff. So we'll be able to use these two techniques throughout the course of the whole 30 days, but they're two that I want you to be able to go for at any time. Now, when you're gonna do this is whenever it works for you. So don't feel like you have to work this in right after the session. Ideally, you're getting it done on the same day because you're always gonna be in front of the next day, you're always behind the last day. And we have found that the last 10 minutes of the day are a really good time to work on this. So, but if you can't do it then and you happen to be at the gym or near your jump rope, work on your soft tissue sort of homework after you're done jumping. Now check this out. A couple ways to think about this. So when we see people doing some rolling, I've just got the Atom roller here, is that most people are going front and back. They're rolling along the roller because that's sort of intuitive because of the roller. But we find that we have much better effect if we go side to side. And one of the reasons we want to go side to side is that it's not just my gastroc, it's not just my soleus, it's not just the plantaris. I'm looking at what's happening to the whole region. So this is a really easy way to start down by the Achilles, and I can start by just rolling side to side. I can start to add motion in there. I can even do something we call scrubbing, which really helps us to feel a little bit less sore. So what I like to do is say, hey, I've got a few minutes on the clock, let's say 10 total minutes. I've got a couple legs. I could divide that in half and do a couple different movements, or if I'm getting a lot of bang for the buck on a single movement, stick with it, and tomorrow try the other movement. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you, this is what we call our long lever position. We're working on the calves when the leg is straight and the foot is just doing its foot thing. So this long lever position, but we also are gonna work on the calf in a bent leg position, in a different mobilization in a second. So as I scan side to side or just do some scrubbing, what I'm trying to do is just make sure that my tissues are like warm silk sliding over steel springs. That's what they should feel. But chances are they're starting to get a little tight, they're protecting themselves, they're starting to be sore. And if I roll side to side and I feel soreness, that's okay. What it means though is I shouldn't go anywhere else. So what I want you to do is take a 4-second inhale, and I want you to contract for 4 seconds. Build an isometric. Resist into the roller for 4 seconds, and then slowly relax for 8 seconds. Long exhale. We're trying to get your brain and breath involved with telling your brain this tissue is not a threat. So when I can take those big breaths, when I can do an isometric contraction, when I can slowly relax and soften there, it's a great way for my brain to say, hey, this tissue is fine. We're gonna get all the blood flow, we're gonna get all the sliding surface, all that is gonna happen, but if I can go ahead and give myself permission to understand and signal to my brain that this isn't a threat, I'm gonna stand up and feel a lot better. So again, working from the base of the foot, I can add motion, I can go side to side, I can add a little bit more load here, but if I find something that feels ugly and not pretty, right, something that doesn't feel like my beautiful leg, I'm gonna stop, throw in a 4-second hold, a 4-second isometric, and then an 8-second relax. And what ends up happening is it starts to feel better. And then I just keep moving on. Okay, so that's homework number 1. That's our standard calf mobilization. You can get as much or as little of that as you need, and don't feel like you have to get the whole leg. Get some work done, we'll get the rest of it tomorrow. So the second one is something we call the bone saw. And what we do on the bone saw is that we like to put something under the instep of the foot here. And then all I'm gonna do is swing my other leg around on top of that calf, and then I can mobilize back and forth. Now what's great about the bone saw is that notice that I'm able to work in this short lever or bent leg position. I can also sit back and get into some much deeper tissues in positions because the knee is bent and the toe is pointed. This gives the calf a lot of slack. This gives me a chance to work on these deeper layers and to think about, instead of rolling and having to contract, just using constant slow pressure, which is a great way to break tone and to make myself feel better. And I can take that all the way back and really get into the high aspects of the calf where I may not be able to get with a roller. So your first two pieces of homework to make yourself feel better, start doing some of our classic long lever rolling, have a little bit of a bone saw, commit to 10 minutes a night. And if you want to stretch that out to 15 minutes, we won't tell anyone. But you'll find is that if I can begin some of the input on the big engines, I'm going to feel right as rain in the next 30, or was it 30? Oh, 300 double unders show up tomorrow.